don't they? Hopefully this time in a couple of weeks we'll be talking about 2 performances where they've really let the chains off. The thing I want to talk about, and we'll probably talk about it more in a minute or two, is the fact that the squad that's come out today for the France game actually looks a lot more, whilst there's some obvious switches and changes about, that isn't in my mind a bad thing when you think it's predominantly a Super League team playing against French players and they'll know them and they'll know how to beat them. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't I liked that way that it's been skewed. The selections and some of the places that people have been put have baffled me.
I don't understand. Brown could be great and it could save things and okay. I don't understand him coming in when he hasn't played in the first 2 games. I don't mind Widdop at fullback because there's still an opportunity to get the link up.
Still his best games for England were
yes,
fullback.
7 years ago.
But I'm trying to find positives.
But I don't mind that as much.
Yeah.
But I don't get why you're completely changing it up.
If we'd beaten Lebanon convincingly, right? If we'd beaten Lebanon by 40 points, I would say this is perfectly fine. And it's time to change things up and look after some key personnel.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be saying put people in different positions. I'd be saying, rest people up.
Yeah.
Give Whitehead a rest, because this game was the worst game I've seen him play for probably 2 years, Elliot Whitehead. And I do watch pretty much every one of his Canberra games. So he needed a week off, I definitely think. I don't mind bringing, Percival in.
Well, he's
Watkins a game off. He's had a long season. I actually think Percival's going to have to end up playing on the wing.
Yeah, I'm just about to say that. Yeah, someone's going to have to go and fill the McGilvray spot.
And I think that's why he should have been playing in this squad. Because you don't want his
given the
potential mistakes in the centre position in this sort of tournament. No. But you do want him on a wing where he's going to be less exposed, but can still influence things.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, we've got off the subject. In terms of this game, though, it was just a steady away performance. They didn't need to ever kick it into high gear. They had enough in them to beat them.
They didn't kick it into high gear, because everyone else did. Australia sorted out the fact that they were a bit lethargic in the first half by romping the second half. New Zealand just took the piss out of Scotland. Yeah. And similarly, PNG and Fiji have been doing the same things to Wales in the tournament so far, and we're going to talk about it more.
I reckon I still think even with the squad that we've named, we've got a big win against the French in this, because France have nothing to play for now.
Yeah.
Okay, on to the Saturday then. Just 3 more games to talk about. Sunday, forgive me. It was PNG 14, Ireland 6. Mark, bit of a surprising one. This Gary Lowe, McDonald, and Boas scoring for PNG, and Mickey McAlorum getting over for the Irish.
Yeah, Frogmore said it was a game that had as many errors as there were big hits, was closer than the scoreline suggested. The Irish scrambling defence was tremendous. Quite ironic, or not so much, that an error caused the deciding try. All in all, great game to watch. And then Mitchell Dart said, Gary Lowe, that is all. Oh, and Ireland's defence was pretty tremendous.
There you go. Super Gary Lowe.
Well, Ireland's defence missed 56 tackles.
Which is going to get punished against a better team.
Which was caused...
These are 2 well-matched sides, I felt.
But this was caused by the very strong running of... Luke Page, who we didn't talk about much before, made over 100 metres 2 games in a row here in the World Cup, and Willie Minoga, 114 metres, my man, and then the outside backs. I mean, that Kato Ottio in the centre as well, next to Gary Lowe, is a pretty powerful thing.
Well, they're all just insane, aren't they, the PNG?
To deal with. The thing is, I mean, PNG made 22 errors, Ireland made 19, so that's not great. PNG made a lot more metres, but Ireland didn't create enough chances in this game. They got themselves up the field a few times, occasionally, but none of the forwards made over 100 metres. In fact, none of the forwards made over 70 metres. 79 metres, actually, Brad Singleton. So they couldn't make enough ground. That was a problem. When they had penalties and stuff that got them into position, they couldn't create anything. No clean breaks in the game. The try came from an error, taking a kick, really, a mix-up, and then McAlorum pounced on it, and he did well. I thought this was possibly the best game I'd seen from him all year until he did that nonsensical back halfway through the second half when he just panicked, thinking he was going to get walloped, I think. But he needs to be a bit more aware there, I would say. But yeah, that was the kind of thing. They kind of got loose with some of their offloads when they started offloading Ireland, and they just weren't able to build any sort of chance for themselves, whereas PNG were ripping through them everywhere, and it was scrambling defence from the Irish, but that was because rest of their defence was so bad. PNG were great. Gary Lowe is a star of this World Cup. I quite like William Minogue. I'm not sure about his goal kicking, but...
You're a big fan.
Oh, no, it's the other one. Reece Martin who's the goal kicker. He wasn't too bad either, but William Minogue's really good runner, really good line runner. The only thing about PNG that I think will hold them back, ultimately, is these Boas brothers at half aren't terrible, but they ain't got much of a kicking game.
No.
That's the thing.
Well, hopefully it does.
But this was a great game and a really exciting one. I'd say, so far in the tournament, the most enjoyable games have been England, Australia, France and Lebanon.
Yeah, and this.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, Ireland, Italy wasn't terrible, but this was better.
Okay, 2 games left then. Italy 46, United States nothing. Okay, let's see how my Italian pronunciation goes. See if you can spot the odd one out. Tramontana, Tedesco, Mantellato, Gietti, Vaughan and Ceruto all scored for the Italians. And there was nothing for the Americans, Mark.
No.
As you would expect, perhaps.
Sorry.
No, it's alright. Take your time.
I'm just getting up my little bits to talk. Yeah, Joe Tramontana brought into the starting lineup this time around. He's got to be hoping that the Michael Leach transfer to the Dragons sticks.
Right.
Because it might not. There's question marks about that now. Hasler's left. But he's hoping it will, because he'll give him a chance at the Bulldogs and he'll take it. He's got a lot of talent about him.
There you go.
He was decent in this game. Interestingly as well, Tedesco wasn't terrible in the 6 shirt.
Well, there you go.
And he made a lot of metres. He worked really hard.
Not too
and that also allowed Mason Curuto to have a really, really good game from fullback.
Yeah.
Over 200 metres in the game for him. But he just cleaned everything up. He got them on the front foot all the time. Some great pickups and some great running. They were just so much better than an understrength USA side. You mentioned Corey Maitland. So, yeah, some flashy highlight plays from him.
Yeah.
That didn't come to much.
He's enjoying his time in the World Cup, though.
Yeah, definitely. And he's showing what he can do. He's down there at the Mounties currently. So, obviously, not much there, but you never know. I just don't think there's a lot I can say about this USA side.
No.
They're just not as good as last time around.
Do you think
sadly.
that's... Well, yeah.
So Joseph Paolo should have been playing for these, not Samoa, because he hasn't really offered much for Samoa either. No. And I think there was a chance for him to, solidify his brand as it was as Captain America. And I think that would have helped them a lot, to be honest.
Okay.
But they're just not being competitive enough. Offerdale, Pettibone, they're working hard, but, 46-0 against an Italy side that were not great the week before and don't really have much in the way of halves at this stage isn't great.
No. Final game of the weekend then saw Fiji defeat the Welsh by 72 points to 6. Vunakesi, Vunivalu, Raiwalui, Kikau, Junior, Faianga, Milne, Montoya, Hain, Lovodua and Nakubuai getting over for the Fijians, whilst Morgan Knowles bagged one for the Welsh.
He also
shooing throughout this one.
He also made 43 tackles.
There you go.
So congratulate him for his hard work.
Was anybody else playing for the Welsh?
On his birthday.
Yeah.
No one played particularly noteworthy. So 53, only the 53 missed tackles this time around though. But that was because Fiji found 15 clean breaks and they just was space all over the place. They tackled almost half as... They had almost half as... Wait. They made almost half as many tackles. That was like how much they didn't have to do anything, Fiji. It was just a complete procession. Yeah. If you looked away for a second, you were missing Uarte making a break and putting Vunivalu, or Milne putting Vunivalu in for a try, or, Nkwama, doing the job that I'd said about Cyril, hoovering everything up, getting everywhere around the pitch and being always there to do something. Is not your ideal fullback, I wouldn't say, in the modern times, but he's doing a good job here. And Jared Hayne had his, was just controlling, which is impressive. I just think they were really good, weren't they? And this time they had the forwards really going as well. Vunakesi, you remember him he's the one with the big hair, and he's been at the Roosters in the past. And Viliami Kikau is a player that I don't know very much about, to be completely honest. He plays at Penrith, but I don't really like watching Penrith, so I don't.
Right.
I don't watch
them. Against Penrith?
I don't know. Just don't enjoy. I didn't enjoy them the last 2 years.
Right.
Before that, they were starting to look like they were going to be a good team, and then they kind of disappointed me. I don't like that gold shirt that they had last year or the year before. Didn't like that. It was hard to watch that shirt. It didn't work for me on the eyes. So I don't know much about him.
Squinting.
But he was impressive in this game. But to be honest, you didn't have to do much to be impressive in this game, did you?
No, not against the Welsh. Easy beats.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Uncle Two Skulls.
Yeah, it wasn't. It's not his best squad. That is hard.
It's been ripped apart by injuries.
You're talking about semi-pro players. I didn't see the starting lineups when they were announced, but looking at this here, it's suggesting that Dalton Grant was in the halves,
right?
Which I didn't know he could play there. Did you?
No. I suspect Dalton Grant didn't know he could play there.
And yeah.
Well,
Courtney Davies is massively overmatched at this level. It's disappointing that people like, Steve Parry, Joe Burke, Danny Ansell, people like that who've looked quite promising in lower levels, haven't really been able to... I thought Danny Ansell started in the halves. That's confused me. But anyway, these people, they're not at this level, and when you're playing against a bunch of NRL players, and some of them are top players, the odd one are top players. I mean, Vunivalu, they were trying to get a point scoring record for Vunivalu in this game, weren't they? I don't think they quite managed it.
Right.
How many goals did he kick in the end? He only kicked 1 of 2. I think they wanted to try and set him up for a few more points, but never got there.
Fair enough.
I don't know why he was kicking goals. That was weird.
Everyone shits and giggles at that point, I'm sure, mate.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's the first 2 rounds of the World Cup covered. Let's take a look into the future now and talk about previews and predictions for the final round of group play. So, final round of group fixtures then starts on Friday as the Fijians take on Italy, Mark. What do you reckon?
Well, possibly the headline from this is Biscuits Campese is going to get a send-off one last game at Canberra. So hopefully, because the crowds have been fairly disappointing in this World Cup so far, I would say.
Yeah.
Hopefully this can draw in some crowd to go to that.
Yeah.
That would be nice, but I don't think he's going to have a fond farewell. I think he's going to be on the end of a bit of a tonking, because one thing with this Fiji side is they don't have a lot of depth compared to maybe, I'd say Tonga and Samoa have a little bit more depth.
Yeah.
So they don't have as much depth, I don't feel. So they're going to go with what they've been going with, which has been flying.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Big points.
There you go.
Okay, one of the big games of the weekend, though, comes on Saturday morning as the Kiwis, New Zealand, take on Tonga, Mark.
Yeah, what do you think?
I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be an explosive game. There's a lot of beef, really, isn't there, in terms of people walking out of the New Zealand squad and claiming their heritage for Tonga. I think the Kiwis are probably going to be just about strong enough, but it'll be a close run thing. I've got just a 2-point game. It's really, really exciting one to watch this from a neutral perspective.
I think it's completely like...
It wouldn't be on the rounds for Tonga to win this.
Yeah, it completely depends on if people like Hurrell, Lola here, those kind of players, do they make the mistakes they've made before? What can they get out of Katoa and Havili at hooker? Because I do feel like this is going to be the first time that their forward pack is going to be met with another forward pack of the same sort of size and intensity.
Yeah.
Really. I know Samoa offered a bit, but they're not quite...
Not quite like the quality of the Kiwis.
Not for me.
Extra little 5 to 10%.
Exactly. And so you need to be getting the ball into people like Taumalolo, Taki, Aho and Fafita, with them able to win those first collisions.
Yeah.
So distribution, I think, is going to be important. Because I think New Zealand might have the edge there. They have the edge at 6 and 7, just about.
Yeah,
I would say. But Sean Johnson, on the flip side of the things I was saying about people like Hurrell, Sean Johnson could have a game that is not effective in, and and maybe push it too much and not quite deliver, which is often what we've seen him do for the Warriors.